All right, let's talk about something called monitoring and evaluation, or M&E for short. It's basically a toolkit that helps you figure out if what you're doing is actually making a difference. Whether it's a small community garden or a massive corporate launch, M&E is how you know if you're truly on the path to success.
You've definitely been there, right? You pour all this time, money, and passion into a project, but then you get that nagging feeling. How do you really know if it's working? I mean, beyond just a gut feeling. Well, that's the exact question M&EA is built to answer. It gives you a real, systematic way to know for sure.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get clear on what monitoring and evaluation even are. Then, we'll walk through the actual process. We'll look at a couple of different flavors of evaluation, and finally, we'll tie it all together with why this whole thing matters in the first place.
Okay, first things first. We have to tackle the biggest point of confusion. People throw the words monitoring and evaluation around like they're the same thing, but they're not. They're two different sides of the same very powerful coin, and they work together.
So, what's monitoring? It's the constant check-in. It's what you're doing during the project to track progress. Are we on schedule? Are we on budget? Think of it like this. You're baking a cake. Monitoring is you peeking through the oven door to make sure it's rising and the temperature is right. You're not judging the final cake yet. You're just making sure the baking process is going smoothly.
And that, of course, brings us to evaluation. If monitoring is checking on the cake while it's baking, evaluation is the big taste test once it's cooled and frosted. This is where you step back and look at the big picture. Did we actually hit our goals? What kind of impact did we have? And the big one, was the recipe a success and should we use it again? This is where you make that final judgment call.
And when you see them side by side like this, it becomes super clear. Look at the timing. Monitoring is non-stop, happening during everything. Evaluation is periodic. It happens at key moments, often at the end. And the focus is totally different. Monitoring is in the weeds, looking at day-to-day stuff. Evaluation zooms out to see the long-term impact. The key takeaway? You absolutely need both. Monitoring lets you fix things on the fly, and evaluation helps you learn the big lessons for next time.
Okay, so we get the what. Now let's get into the how. This whole M&E thing isn't just a random set of tasks. It's actually a really clear blueprint that can guide you from beginning to end.
And it's really a cycle that feeds itself. It all starts with planning and design. You got to decide what success even looks like. Then you get into data collection, which is just gathering up all the information you need. Next up, data analysis. This is where the magic happens. You turn all those numbers and notes into real insights. From there, you share what you found to reporting and feedback. But listen, it can't stop there. The next two steps are the most important. Actually using your findings to make things better, and then building all that into a culture of continuous learning. That's how the cycle keeps going, making every project smarter than the last.
Now let's dig a little deeper into evaluation, because it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. Depending on the question you're trying to answer, you're going to use a different lens. And two of the most common ones are formative and summative evaluation.
Just look at the purpose here. Formative evaluation is all about one thing: improvement. It happens during the program, giving you real-time feedback so you can fix things as you go. Summative evaluation, on the other hand, is about the final judgment. It happens after everything is done to see if overall it was a success. So one helps you change course mid-journey. The other tells you if you actually made it to the right destination.
Yep, you guessed it. Let's bring back our cake to really lock this in. Formative evaluation is like tasting the batter and realizing, this needs more vanilla. You're improving the recipe as you go. Summative evaluation is when everyone sits down, eats a slice of the finished cake, and gives it a thumbs up or thumbs down. It's the final verdict. It's a really simple way to remember the difference. So building on that, we've talked about when you evaluate. But there's another really big question. Who gets to do the evaluating? And this brings us to another key difference, the one between conventional and participative approaches.
Conventional evaluation is what you probably think of first. It's top-down. An outside expert comes in, looks at everything, and gives their professional judgment. The people in the project are basically just subjects being studied. But participative evaluation, it flips that whole script. It's collaborative. Everyone involved, even the people the project is supposed to help, gets a seat at the table. The expert isn't a judge anymore. They're more like a facilitator, helping a group evaluate itself. The whole point shifts from just checking boxes to empowering people and learning together.
So really, the big idea here is all about perspective. Conventional is an expert looking in from the outside.
Participative is the whole team looking at itself from the inside. One prioritizes objectivity and expert opinion. The other prioritizes real-world context and empowering the people who are actually doing the work.
All right, we have covered a lot. The what, the how, the who. But let's bring this all home and answer the most important question of all. Why bother? Why do any of this? What's the ultimate goal here?
This is really the heart of it all. M&E isn't about creating fancy reports that just sit on a shelf. It's about being accountable to your funders, to your team, and to the people you're trying to help. It's about being more efficient so you stop wasting time and money on things that don't work. It gives you the proof you need to know you're making progress. It helps you make decisions based on facts, not just guesses. And maybe most importantly, it fuels a culture of learning and improvement, which is the only way to get better over the long haul.
And that's really what M&E is all about. It's not just some corporate buzzword, it's a mindset. It's about having the courage to ask, is this actually working? And then having a system in place to find the honest answer. So as we close out, I'll just leave you with this to think about. What's one thing in your work, or heck, even in your personal life, that could use a little bit more monitoring and evaluation? Thanks for tuning in.